Morning, guys. It is day one of Animate Raleigh, and I'm about to go to the warehouse, go get the van, fill up the van, and then head over to the convention center to load in. We have a 10 by 20 booth this time. Last year we had a 10 by 10 corner, and now we have a 10 by 21 inline one corner because I really wanted to try out and see if that would impact anything at all at Animate. I don't know how this is going to go. Last year was really fun, but it wasn't necessarily the most profitable con. But they have a lot of really big voice actors this year. Like J. Michael Tatum's going to be there, like the whole Has Been cast, and some of the Hell of Us cast is going to be there too. So I might be escaping for a little bit to go get some signatures and things. But let's get together and let's figure this out. We're just kind of doing a copy and paste from Anime Weekend Atlanta because we have had zero time in between to do anything different. We got like 175 like boxes that came in. So the warehouse is a little full, which you'll see, but we got this. We got this. Warehouse is a bit full, as you can see. We are having to load up all these boxes into the U-Haul. These bad boys are our jumbo dragons, which we finally came in. Man, I can make a fort. Some desk mats, which I'm excited about. This is our new star design. Get back to packing up this van, so I'll see you at the convention center. We are off to Animate loading dock. The van is full and I'm sleepy. Arrived at our designated time at 1 o'clock, and it looks like other people didn't listen, so we are wrapped around the block for the 1 o'clock slot, which kind of sucks because we did 1 o'clock for a reason. There's no way this many people signed up for the 1 o'clock slot. Oh well, you know what? It's time to wait for an hour. This convention center, I know I've said this a million times before, this is our 4th time here, but it is the smallest loading dock I've ever been in. And it's because it is underground. You have to go underneath the street to get there. It's right next to the Red Hat Amphitheater. All these things are working against us, but it's okay. That just means I get to hang out with Sam. So catch up over the holidays and everything like that. So I'll see you once we're finally inside the loading dock. Hello guys, so I have officially unloaded everything in the loading dock. It was a bit frantic. There was a lot of confusion. It took 2 hours for us to get in there, but we did it. We're out. I ate a donut. It was pretty great. But now it's time to go figure some things out. So let's go to Animate.
So before I headed down to the booth, I made sure to go stop by and say hi to Damaris, who was supposed to help out this weekend, but she actually got a spot in the artist alley, and that for some reason they had put her all the way upstairs. She ended up getting moved later on in the weekend, but it was just a bit of a weird segue. But to get in from the parking lot, I had to go all the way from the front of the building and go all the way down to the vendors because there were no other entrances. And let me tell you, it's a hike. But I am always so impressed with how big these shows can get, especially in the Raleigh Convention Center. They also changed the backdrops this time, so they're blue and pink, which I thought was really cute and matched the Animate colors. But here you can see where everyone was setting up while I had gone on a little adventure.
My boy!
Overall, it took about 4 hours to get the base setup done for the show, which is always a bit longer than I'd like, but beauty takes time. The next morning was Friday, and we got there around 11 to finish up setting up, put all the displays out. We're running a little late, but I met some great people, and I was able to really talk with a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. One of my favorite things about vending in the Raleigh area is that I absolutely get to spend time with the locals. I get to see all these mutuals that I hadn't seen in a while. And honestly, after going to a lot of really big shows with a lot of people I don't know, it's a really nice palate cleanser to come back to the Raleigh Convention Center and be able to see all my friends and my family and be able to go home at the end of the day. Friday ended up being so slow. It was probably one of my worst Fridays to date, but I kind of expected that a little bit. It started at 2 p.m. on a Friday, right after the holidays, so not a lot of people had that time off. And given the fact that it's right after the holidays, a lot of people are not really thinking about going to conventions. They're thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to get back to work. Local colleges also weren't back in session quite yet, so I know a lot of people were not even in town from NC State.
It is 6 o'clock on day one, and we are almost at making booth, which I am very content with. So let's see how the rest of the day goes, and let's see how the weekend goes. We have about an hour and a half left of the con. How you feeling, Jeremy?
I feel great.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little dehydrated, but good.
Yeah, we're making it. We're making it.
And I just had to show off some of my favorite mutuals and some great artists that I see all the time in the Raleigh area, and also some new people. So sit back, relax, and see some great art.
You are.
And then zoom in on the boys.
Say hi!
So high tech.
Whee! The babies. Fine. It's so pretty.
Morning. It is like 12 o'clock on Sunday, and I am late for the con. My helpers are there, but fun fact, I was not able to go to the con yesterday. I had a huge flare-up of some issues of mine. I also just was not feeling well. So I was so thankful that people were able to step up and take over the booth for me and did an amazing job. I'll ask what they thought, how they thought Saturday went a little later. But I am running a little late today because I wanted to just take a shower, start the day off stronger so I could actually be there today and not get sick and have to leave. But I am also picking up a U-Haul for them. I'm going to drive it over to the convention center. And yeah, I'm excited to go back. Friday was really interesting. It was slow, but consistent. It was almost on par with last year's Animate, which surprised me. So I think we also kind of did the same as we did last year yesterday. So let's see how we do today. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to say the least. But yeah, so let's go to day 3 of Animate.
Yesterday went great. It was a little bit, it felt a little bit slower than we expected, but we actually made our goal. So it's been good.
I didn't see you there. Welcome. This is my booth. We've got purses. And over here, we also have purses. So, you know, pretty big assortment of items. We have the poll going on right now for top 10 saddest anime donut deaths. I found out people don't know what tally marks are. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, it's been a good weekend.
Look at these cute stickers. Personally, I'm a big fan of the mysteries, but how you feeling?
I'm tired. Wait, I mean, I'm good. Amazing. I love it here. I do. It's amazing.
So by the time I was done walking around on Sunday, I quickly realized that I don't think anyone was there. It was really strange. So about 4 o'clock on Saturday, it suddenly became a ghost town. And I was really confused until someone told me that there was a winter weather happening, which if you live in North Carolina, you know that that is not something we are expecting in any way, shape, or form. So there was some sleet coming down outside. So all these North Carolinians, myself included, wanted to get out of there. But you can really see in this clip how empty it was on Sunday. And it was really crowded earlier in the day, and that's what really surprised me. We had some good crowds, but Lord, it was like a switch flipped and suddenly nobody was out there. And there was no snow, there was no nothing, but it was probably the last day of people's breaks. It was late on a Sunday and everyone wanted to go home. So I completely understood. But another element that I think contributed to it was there was some sort of masquerade event going on in the upper levels, which you're going to see right here. But I was like, oh my God, wait, it's full. That's where everyone is.
So we are about 30 minutes out to the end of the convention, and it's dead in here. Everyone up, I think, is at the masquerade. I went by there earlier and it was packed. But there's also a huge winter storm that's rolling in, so I think a lot of people are heading out to avoid that. It's also probably the last day of break for a lot of people, so people want to get home. But today was better than I expected. We had some constant traffic. It felt really slow, but people were buying, which was really cool. And yeah, I will give a more in-depth explanation of the entire show after this. So let's get ready to load out. We are got this. Jeremy, how you feel? You're Sam. Sam, how you feeling?
Good.
The day's ending strong.
Okay, let's talk about Animate. So it was very interesting. Now, as you know, this is my second year selling at Animate, and last year's Animate was actually my first Galaxycon show ever. So it's very cool to see how much I've grown from last year to this year. Here, I'll input a little video of my booth last year, which looks a lot different. It's still, you can definitely still see the fundamentals of what I wanted, but now I have the tools to do it. I say that like I'm not finished with my booth. I'm always updating and improving my booth whenever I can. But Animate this year was really on par with Animate last year, sales-wise. Now, let's start from the beginning. So we got there on Thursday, and I found out actually that my booth was moved 2 rows over, which is not a big deal, but I print everything beforehand. So I print out these little Find Me Again pamphlets. And so I always put a little map of where to find me. And those were no longer accurate. So throughout the entire day Friday, I was literally with a Sharpie rewriting all the numbers, which, you know, gave me something to do because it was a pretty slow Friday. But when you look at the numbers, I was looking, like, I don't share my sales numbers online for my own personal safety and also to not really make anyone feel better or bad. We're just talking about the facts. But sales numbers wise, we made more sales than I expected given how slow it was. It was really, I had goals for each day and we hit each one, which I was very surprised about. I set very realistic, attainable goals and we hit all of them. We did not go crazy over what I was expecting. We also didn't go under. So in that sense, and Animate, check mark. Made exactly what I expected. Can't complain about that. Now, Animate is my lowest performing show that I do. Put it this way. I went to NecoCon, which maybe had 3,000 people, and I made 20% more at that show than this one. And the booth cost for NecoCon was like $500, and the booth cost for Animate was $2,000. So just put that in perspective. I'm still happy with the profit that I made at Animate, but it definitely, my return on investment was not as high as it usually is. Like when I did Rose City Comic Con, my booth cost was $300 because it was an artist alley table, and I made more overall with all of expenses than expenses for Animate. So like for Rose City Comic Con, I had to fly, I had to get a hotel, I had to get a booth, and all that kind of equaled the amount of my Animate booth and costs. And I still made more at Rose City at an artist alley table. So that's to give you guys kind of the perspective of how Animate is. I still made money. I still am happy with the money that I made, but it's definitely still a growing show. Now on Friday, I was running late. I was running so late. And I ended up getting there about an hour later than I had wanted to. I had to come pick up Jeremy from the warehouse where I am now. Look at my pink wall. Because he had traveled in to help out with the show, which also added to some of the costs because I had to pay for his hotel. And so we get there at like 11 o'clock, finish setting up because you saw how it was when we left. We didn't have any of the displays up. We didn't have any of like signage up and that takes longer than you would think actually, which it always amazes me. So we got there like 11, show opened at 2, and we barely got done in time. And some of that was because I was having a flare-up and was simply not able to really stand up, get down like I usually do. For those who don't know, I have some health issues. So that's one of the reasons why I hire people, because y'all deserve to be able to see me at conventions, even though my body sometimes gives out on me, which happened at this show, but we'll get into that. So on Friday, I saw so many amazing people, but it was just slow. But the weirdest thing was, it was really slow in the show, making a sale every 10, 15 minutes. But I kept hearing, guys, there's a line to get in that was wrapped around the building. And I didn't believe it, to be perfectly honest. I was like, what are you talking about? No, there isn't. At Animate Raleigh, there's not a line. But there was. And the reason why was because they only had one metal detector going. So it wasn't necessarily that there was a crazy amount of people there, but it was just taking forever for people to actually get in the building because of, the steps they were taking in place to protect everybody, which valid. I'm not upset about that, but it was cold. So I feel bad for everyone who was standing out there in the cold. But the hours were from 2 to 8 on Friday, and it was really fun. I really do enjoy doing Raleigh shows because I get to see so many people because I am local. And so I got to see everybody, but I realized once I left, after we packed up, got everything finished, I realized, I don't think I can do this again tomorrow, which is something I've never done. And coming up on 3 years of shows, I have never missed a day of selling. And I was like, if I do this, I'm going to really hurt myself if I keep going. So I'm not going to get into too many details. But so I had to really sit down and be honest with myself and be like, Emily, you have people who can be there. Have them take over for you so you can sit down and rest and be there for Sunday. So that's what I did. And Sam, my warehouse manager, came and helped out on Saturday. And Jeremy was in town. So the two of them, honestly, with the crowds that were going on, completely were able to handle it. And they did a great job. Something I'm trying to do in the future is be a little better at allocating tasks and having people be willing to have people help me, because that's a challenge that I deal with. So they were able to handle that for Saturday. And then I was laying in bed, occasionally checking the square. I'm like, I don't think they're doing very well, because I was looking at the amounts on the square. And when I go and talk to them the next day, I'm like, hey, how'd it go? They're like, actually, it was great. I'm like, really? And it's because there were so many cash sales. Almost half of our sales ended up being from cash sales, which was crazy. Because usually, especially nowadays, cash is not really king anymore at shows. And especially since I have little higher priced items, my price points can range from, $10 items to $50 items. And our biggest sellers are our $35 items. So usually people use card for those. But cash was our big seller, which was really interesting to see. So I let myself, so fast forward to Sunday when I was actually there. I let myself sleep in a little bit, just to really, because it's a long day, and I came in a little late. I arrived around noonish. The show opened at 10, and I missed out on some people seeing me, which was really sad. I was really, really sad about that, but there's some things you just have to do. And so I arrived, and things were going really well. It was still really slow, but a winter storm came, which was, no one was really expecting. A winter storm in Raleigh, North Carolina just means a little bit of sleet. Apparently some people saw snow. I was stuck inside, so I didn't get to see snow. Wah wah. But, so at 4 o'clock, that convention center was empty, like completely empty. There was nobody there. It's because everyone left. And for valid reasons. Like, there was some bad weather coming in. They did not want to be there and wait and drive home after that. So it was just a very slow 2 hours of waiting for breakdown, because I do not break down early. That is my rule. Even if a show is going absolutely horrible, I do not break down early. Partially because our booth is so big, it would cause some issues if we broke down early, but also to respect the convention center and everything like that, and all the people who are wanting to shop. So I do not break down early. I know some people did at this show, which is completely okay. Everyone has their own way of doing things. I don't recommend breaking down early at conventions, just in case you want to come back, right? Some convention runners do not like seeing that, and they will dock you, and they will hold that against you. So always be aware of the convention. And my piece of advice, even if you sell out, I have sold out at shows. When I first started doing conventions back at Galaxycon 2022, I sold out completely. Like, I had nothing on my table, but I sat there and I networked and I talked to customers, and I still was able to get some online sales and also really built up the community there. So there's always reasons to stay at conventions, even if you don't have anything to sell. So that's just Emily's piece of advice. But it is your, if you're running a booth, it is your business. You do what's best for you. If it's a weather related, if it's like you have to leave, communicate that to the con runners and just be honest with them. It's a two-way street. Now, one thing that I've been asked a lot is, will I go back to Animate? And yes, I will. While it is not my best performing show, it is still right down the street from me. I love Galaxycon. I love working with them. They're such fantastic people. Even though there was some hiccups this year, I had a friend of mine have some booth issues and location issues, but it ended up getting sorted out. But I trust in Galaxycon, and I really love working with the brand. So I will go to any show that I can in the Raleigh area. Partially because I get to stay home and sleep with my cat. You know, baked beans, needs his mama. But I am going down from a 10 by 20 to a 10 by 10 next year. It's just, we're not making the money to really afford a 10 by 20 and really up the costs. So, and one of the reasons why I usually get a 10 by 20 is to store inventory, because I just simply can't keep up with, I can't store things in the van anymore and bring it in. But the good thing about this show is that I am local. If I run out of something, I can just run to the warehouse and get it. So that is the reason why I am bumping down to a 10 by 10. Now, in some upcoming shows, I do 10 by 20s because plushies take up so much space. And it's better to have the visibility of a 10 by 20 when also utilizing it for the storage space than to cram everything into a 10 by 10 and it looking a little shabby. Because that's how mine look. Not other 10 by 10s are not shabby. They're not. When I do it, it doesn't look good because I have so many boxes, and it's just not up to what I want for my booth. If I can hide it, that's the goal. I say that, but I've done really creative and fun things with my 10 by 10s, and I am actually doing 10 by 10s in the future. For Galaxycon Richmond and AwesomeCon, I am doing 10 by 10s. And I'm coming up with some really interesting ways to utilize the space so we can have the kind of shop experience, but also have the storage behind. So there are absolute ways to do it. I just don't have it yet. So if you have any tips, let me know. But that's my thoughts on Animate. I know it's not super wild and crazy, but I would call it a lower mid-sized show right now. As I said last year, I see a lot of potential of growth for this show. The Galaxycon name, especially in Raleigh, is really strong, and there's a huge anime fan base in Raleigh. Like this weekend, I'm actually going to an anime market for Geek and Grub, so catch me there. But it really brings out people. There's some anime paradise markets here. There is a market for anime in Raleigh. So I know that Galaxycon is going to be able to utilize that. Now, the time of year kind of sucks. There was actually, we had a theory about the cash, because I said before, why is there so much cash? We think it's Christmas money. We think it's Christmas money, and that's what was really funneling the cash sales. So that's just something maybe to think about. But it's right after the holidays. We tend to get inclement weather this weekend for some reason. Like last year, we also had inclement weather. But yeah, I will be there, and I am here to watch Animate grow and really flourish, because I know it will. I see a lot of potential in it. My next show in the Raleigh Convention Center is Animazement, which is my all-time favorite show. I know it's weird because it's a small show, right? But it is a show that I've been going to since I was 14 years old, which is 11 years now. Oh my God. As an attendee. It was my first anime convention I ever went to, and being able to sell at it and have my products there really makes me so happy, truly and utterly. So yeah. And then I'm going to be at Galaxycon Raleigh. And I think there's the only ones at the Galaxycon, the Raleigh Convention Center, that I'm going to be at upcoming. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But my next show is actually going to be MegaCon Orlando. I'm in the Gamers Heaven booth. So I'm really excited to be with Andrew and Schwa. It'll be really exciting. We all rented a house together. Let's see how this goes. And then after that, I got into Katsucon. This will be my third year at Katsucon, but I'm in the vendor hall. So I'm really excited to share with you guys the difference between Artist Alley and vendor hall. I've heard the vendor hall is not as good, which I completely can see happening. I have an end cap there, and I got my booth placement, and y'all, there's a pole right in front of my booth. So it's going to be my new emotional support pole. I think it's going to keep me grounded. So let's see how this goes. But yeah, I am just really, really excited to continue going to shows. And then that's February. Then March, we're going to be at Galaxycon Richmond, but we're also going to be at Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle. We have a 10x20 booth there. I'm shipping everything over. Pray for me. Pray for me. Then we got Galaxycon Richmond after that, then AwesomeCon in DC, and then I think I'm going to be at C2E2. Haven't confirmed yet, but I think that's going to happen. And then we're going to be back at Animazement in May. So I have a lot of vlogs coming up, as you can hear. And a goal for me this year is to really work on my YouTube channel, especially as TikTok is dying. I really do want to still connect with you guys in some way. So make sure you like, subscribe, and also comment your favorite type of coffee below, because your girl loves her coffee kittens. But if you stayed this long, I have a little hint for you. My next Backgate campaign is going to be launching on March 1st, and it's very exciting. It is Dumpster Darlings, so keep an eye out for sneak peeks about that in the upcoming weeks, because it's coming. It's coming. It's exciting. But thank you guys so much for sitting and watching and being here with me, and maybe I'll see you next year at Animate. Would you go to Animate? Are you local? And what kind of shows do you guys want to see me at? I'm always looking to try new things. Stay safe, drink water, and have a great day.